You don't have to buckle up for this video, but you do need to stick with it. This is going to be mostly recycled footage because today I intended to revisit this. My experiment where I took a Mongoose Ledge X2 and left it exposed out in the elements in the original video for over 3 months. Well, now it had been over a year. And I was really curious about this because at the 3-month point, it fared far better than I would have ever imagined. And that's actually over 3 months. It was 3+ months, and that's in southern weather. It got the full spectrum. Sun, southern heat, rain, and even, though it's fairly rare down in the south, even snow. Well, in the 9+ months since, it got even more of that, plus more heat. No more 90s heat indexes. How about heat indexes up to 116 Fahrenheit? A little lead up important information here. Since this video, I parked it right back in the same spot, and I left it for, again, 9+ months, over a year. This has been outside exposed, but the last 9+ months, it never moved from that spot. Literally untouched. I wouldn't even rake leaves around it. You can see some stuff growing up and some other issues that I'll be talking about. Well, let me go ahead and talk about them. Yellow jackets. Lots of yellow jackets. And no, you're not having any data issues. This is ultra low res. It's low res feed to begin with, but I had to crop it in because I want to crop out some other stuff. I'm boring you with the details here because you have to understand how all this happened. I had the bike parked in this exact same spot for 9+ months, and right where those little trees are growing, that's a 4-foot circle cut into my back patio. And since I've had the house, all that was in there was the stump of a tree which I've worked over time to remove, and then an armadillo tried to root up in that spot. So I covered it with a tarp and an upside down black plastic basket until I could fill it in because I didn't want to bump that bike while I was trying to work on that area. And that's where the yellow jackets come in, because you see, if you have a hole and you cover that with the tarp and then cover that with a black plastic basket with little holes in it that are just about the right size for a yellow jacket to come in and out of, well, it turns out they view that as a very exotic location. They come from all around just to live there. In this basket, it was upside down over that hole, so you can see the enticing condominium-like look to a yellow jacket. So why the beekeeper guy then? Well, first off, I'm allergic to yellow jackets, but second, I decided to be nice for some weird reason. I thought I could peacefully coexist. And we did for about a month and a half, but then they started bumping into me, which I saw as a warning sign, so I called a friend that is a beekeeper, and he decided to uncover them for me. He wouldn't kill them because I guess he has an affinity for winged stingy things. So that part was up to me, and here's the setup here, the long setup of all this. I had to move my car to a different location because they were making about a 20-foot circle around this uncovered nest, and I was trying natural remedies to kill them. None of those worked, so I eventually went with the pesticides that I don't like to use. 7 Dust did the job, just FYI. My total battle time from the point he uncovered this, about 5 days. And I'm going to pause right here to tell you that normally back here I have multiple layers of security and some of that very high quality cameras, motion sensing, alert notifications, the whole works. And also there's the positioning of this bike, very difficult to see, only a little small gap that only a particular angle could see into, so really wasn't that worried when I cut off just about all of that security. Why would I turn that off? Well, I had to for my battle, which always took place at night, and these things will fly at light. I found that out almost the hard way. 5 days of battling later, I won. That's the queen. She didn't make it. Battle 1, this is the area with all the activity. The nest was down in there, and in the early morning hours, I'm reveling at my V-Day victory, thinking it's time to get the bike, a celebration lap. Oh wait, where is the bike? So when did this happen? It was hard to find because, as I mentioned, I'd turned off almost all of my securities, but I also mentioned I have multiple layers of security. Some of that includes very old cameras. This is going to be very grainy, they're low resolution, and I had to crop in. Well, it turns out the day before I declared victory, someone else decided to have a victory. You'll see him in just a second walk up, so he clearly looked through that small gap. And the thing about this is the guy you're about to see, I have seen this exact same guy walk by my house, gosh knows how many times over the past few months. We've even spoken as he walked by. You know, I'm not even going to call him a guy, I'm just going to call him human scum at this point. Well, I don't even know that I would degrade scum that low because thieves, that's the lowest of the low in my book. You can never change a thief, but just watching as he quickly gets the kickstand, I think he's done this before. And I guess it's because I have so many bikes that I'm not really that mad about the bike. I'm mad about the experiment. I waited over a year to get this done. Now, well, I'll never see any results. I guess I can use a little bit of grainy footage here to show you that at least it still worked, because he got on it at the end of my driveway, rode it right down the road and right up the hill. Looked like it pedaled just fine. I'm gonna roll back here to some recycled footage. The same bike at the 3+ month part of being exposed. Want you to get a good look at this bike, especially if you're from the North Alabama area. If you see a Mongoose Ledge X2, it'll be distinguishable by the orange fun handlebars and the orange grips. And just FYI, those orange grips, they were the one thing that really showed wear. After 1 year, they were barely orange on top, still pretty orange on the bottom. The Pro Rust still looked good. The chain, the last time I looked, it was fairly rusted at the 1 year point, but looking at him ride off on it easily in the security footage, I'm gonna say it still worked fine. The one interesting note is that because I added parts to this, it added to the value of the bike, and that pushed it over the level to make it a felony if they ever do get caught. Why I put brand new race face chesters on a bike I was gonna use as an exposure test, I have no idea, but well, I guess they still worked too. 2 bikes in 2 months stolen from me. Of course, this is the first at my location, but this is normally a low crime area and not a lot of cyclists, so usually stolen bikes, they kind of stick out. But well, I've had 2 stolen, and sadly, this isn't my only losses for the past few weeks, because YouTube, they have this new handle thing. They stole a handle from me. Basically, in my opinion, stealing one of my brands. If you'd like to hear more about that, comment below. Comment with what you think about all this bike thievery and the loss of my exposure experiment. Thanks for watching KevCentral. Have a great day.